The legendary Mike Tyson trembled in fear at the sight of this fighter.
Hey, listen up here. Hey, they may call you Kid Dynamite. You mess with me, I'll put your fuse out. Hey, our son ain't blood, punk. Where you at?
And the great kickboxer Ernesto Hoost was mercilessly destroyed by this monster twice. Bob Sapp is a true nightmare in the world of combat sports, a living embodiment of terror. For many fans, he is known as a Hollywood actor who was a mediocre fighter, but few know that in his prime, he could easily defeat any opponent. In this video, you will see his best fights, so get comfortable, and here we go. Next, the Beast went on to hunt down other fighters, devouring every one of his opponents.
Easier, and it would be a very smart thing for Yamamoto to do it too. Oh!
But Ernesto Hoost, the great Dutch kickboxer, stood in the way of this monster. Legendary fighters like Hoost regularly turned rookies like Sapp into bloody messes, and if Bob was the Beast in the ring, Hoost was determined to act as the trainer. From the very beginning of the fight, the furious American pounced on his opponent like a berserker. However, Hoost used his finely honed skills, and the ring turned into a true bloodbath. Afterward, Ernesto decided to show the American a couple of slicing low kicks, treating him like a soccer ball. But Bob preferred American football, so he gave the Dutchman a good thrashing. The angry American refused to lower the intensity, and immediately after the break, continued the brawl, turning Ernesto's face into Dutch cheese. By defeating such a prominent fighter, the Beast began to instill genuine fear throughout the combat sports world. But the legendary Hoost, like an Avenger, could not come to terms with defeat, and this led him back to the giant Titan. Once again, Bob cruelly beat the Dutchman, creating a flood of blood, forcing the referee to stop the fight to save at least some of Ernesto's health. After defeating the legendary Hoost, Sapp stormed into the ring like a bull in a corrida, ready to skewer anyone who dared challenge him. And his next opponent was another matador hoping to tame Bob. His compatriot Kimo Leopoldo was fully charged for the fight. From the first seconds, it seemed like a new episode of Tom and Jerry had begun, as Kimo started running away from Bob all over the ring. However, Leopoldo was not nimble enough to avoid Sapp's deadly hammers. But then, gathering his courage, Kimo managed to shake the indomitable Titan. Taking advantage of the moment, he started pounding the big guy. To break through the thick armor of the Beast, however, more energy was required, and Kimo didn't have enough fuel in his tank. Luckily for Kimo, the bell rang, giving him a chance to recover, but Bob decided it was time to end it. Ultimately, Sapp, like a true chef, used a series of sharp strikes to bring his opponent to the ground, leaving Leopoldo's body to marinate in hellish pain. In the audience, Iron Mike Tyson himself was watching this fight. Sapp took advantage of the presence of such a legendary guest and decided to challenge him on the spot. Thus, Bob put on a show both during and after the fight. Over the following year, Sap smashed all his opponents. He was like a threatening volcano, ready to erupt. His blows rained down like an avalanche, and no one could withstand his onslaught. Sap became a true monster of the ring, his presence instilling dread, as if a wild beast had truly entered the ring. The next challenger who dared to face Bob was Akebono, a samurai from the land of the rising sun with a rising cholesterol level. Apparently, this fight was less about a title belt and more about a bucket of KFC. From the very start, the chubby opponent tried to crush Sap's internal organs, but the beast endured the pressure of this calorie-laden mutant. Then Bob reminded everyone why the Japanese dislike earthquakes. With every action, Bob made it clear to Akebono that he'd be better off battling his own weight. The ruthless American decided to end the fight like a true artist, and his powerful strike was the final brushstroke in this bloody masterpiece. Opponents began to realize that every blow from Bob in the ring could be the final note in this thrilling symphony of power. But something went wrong, and at some point, the glossy record of the deadly American lost its shine. There were many rumors that Sap had started selling and throwing his fights, but apparently, there were also people who believed in their strength or didn't have the money to buy a win. One of his opponents was supposed to be a stepping stone for Bob to rise from rock bottom. This was an old and small fighter whom the American was expected to turn into a punching bag. But in the fight, it turned out quite the opposite. The giant fell to the floor more often than Biden. The old man had no problem humiliating the giant in front of the audience. After this fight, fans and supporters were convinced that Sap had become nothing more than a punching bag. In hopes of redeeming his disgrace, Bob began accepting challenges from all over the world. One of the destinations on the kickboxing map was the bustling streets of Lagos and the sun-drenched beaches of Nigeria, where Bobby Ologun awaited him. Before the fight, Ologun must have watched the movie Catch Me If You Can, because he kept running from Sap to every corner of the ring. Dennis Rodman's twin brother continued showing his track and field skills, but the American eventually caught him. Sap pinned his opponent to the floor and began hammering his head into the canvas like a nail. Then, the relentless American resembled a predatory lion tearing its prey to shreds, but the referee decided to stop the predator. With this fight, Bob proved to everyone that he was still a dangerous monster who could tear anyone apart, if he wanted to, of course. Every subsequent entry into the ring was like the start of a storm. Every spectator froze in anticipation of the carnage. Meanwhile, opponents realized they would face a storm of powerful punches and unpredictable maneuvers. The next upstart was from the land of cold and bears, Alan Karayev. From the first seconds, Alan demonstrated to Bob an assortment of top-notch strikes and techniques. But a deadly fire lit in the eyes of the American. In no time, the naive Russian found himself between a hammer and an anvil. While Bob was giving him an ass-whooping, Alan probably recalled his harsh Soviet upbringing. And then Alan missed the fatal flash of rage and was instantly sent to a hellish place, even scarier than Russia. Thus, Bob Sapp went from hero to zero. He could frighten legendary fighters, though his career ended, to put it mildly, unsuccessfully. While Bob might not have been the best in the world of combat sports, he managed to build a decent career on Hollywood screens. Like this video if you wouldn't want to face this monster in the ring. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.